Aprajita Ashish has been working and volunteering for Animal Safe movement for more than a year and a half now, as she is the regional liaison of Asia. She graduated in mathematics and has masters in social work and counseling. She has experience in human resources, counseling families, juveniles and rape survivors, and also relationship and divorce cases in the High Court in India. So without further ado, please all welcome Aprajita.
Thank you, Ellie, for a great introduction. So as Ellie mentioned, I have around 5 years of experience in social work, and I'm really grateful for Animal Advocacy Conference Asia for organizing this conference and helping activists to grow the movement in Asia. So let me start by telling you a little about SAVE movement, what we do. I'll start with a quote of Leo Tolstoy. When the suffering of another creature causes you to feel pain, do not submit to the initial desire to flee from the suffering one. On the contrary, come closer and close as you can to her who suffers and try to help. So, Animal Safe Movement, we are a vegan and anti-speciesist, animal-centric organization that position itself against all forms of oppression. The Animal Safe Movement started in December 2010 with the inception of Toronto Pig Safe by Mr. Bean and Anita Frank. Today, there are around 1,000 chapters in 71 countries. And in India, we have 22 active chapters, and the numbers keep increasing every year. So I'll give you a brief about how we started, how the movement started. So Anita and Mr. Bean were walking in the city and found a big truck with pigs. So the truck was outside the slaughterhouse waiting to drive in. So these sentient beings were waiting for their deaths. She made a promise with the pigs that she will not look away. She made a promise to herself that she will do vigil 3 times a week and come to see them. She started doing this with Mr. Bean, and then slowly people started joining her, and that's how the SAVE movement started. The first group of the SAVE movement was Toronto Pig Save, and year by year, it started growing around the world. So in the SAVE movement, we bear witness to the farmed animals and promote veganism and love-based grassroots activism. SAVE groups around the world bear witness to pigs, cows, chickens, goats, lambs, fish, and other animals who are being slaughtered and create awareness around the world. So our primary goal is to promote veganism and activism and join our group to grow together, other groups to grow together unitedly. Our scope basically is activities, which includes vigils, vegan outreach campaigns, film screening, corporate campaigns, marches, etc. So addressing the other two fundamentals issue arising from animal agriculture, we also have health save, climate save, and youth climate save. So in the health save movement, we promote nutritious veganism to improve health and enhance food justice, which simultaneously fighting world hunger, malnutrition, and other food related issues. We also educate people about harmful effects of consuming animal-based products and help people in transitioning to a vegan diet. We have doctors, plant-based nutritionists in our team who advocates in this aspect. So,
Sorry to interrupt. I think you might want to share your screen so we can see the slides if you haven't already.
Oh, I thought it's visible. I'm so sorry. I'll.
No worries.
So this
Thank
is
you.
Mr. Bean and Anita. As you can see here, so this is how we do wedges in um, uh, countries outside India. But in India, everything is open, and we can see, we bear witness openly. People do slaughter outside, so we don't have basically trucks going around. Okay, so I'll move to climate safe movement. As you can see, I explained health safe, climate safe, and there's a youth climate safe. So in the climate safe movement, which is a building a grassroots movement to prevent climate crisis by ending animal agriculture, reforesting the earth, and phasing out fossil fuels. Animal agriculture is a key source of greenhouse gas emissions, which can all be eliminated entirely. It is also the leading source of ocean's dead zone, deforestation, mass species extinction, and excessive water use. Veganism and reforestations are critical part of climate actions. And along with that, along with the eliminating fossil fuels, um, we our last hope against a catastrophic tipping point for our climate. So in the youth climate, we have Genesis Butler. She's the founder of Youth Climate Save Movement, and she's 13 years old, activist. It is the first youth climate-led movement on which focuses on animal agriculture and its negative impact on the planet. And currently, we have 68 chapters in 21 countries, and it welcomes youth under the age of 25. So this is about animal safe movement, and now we are going to come to our point here. Okay, so we do want the world to go vegan, and to do that, we live in Asia. So let's know about Asia and what we can do here. So as you can see, Asia is the most populated continent in the world. The chart shows the distribution of global population as the mid 2020 by continent. As 2020, about 59.1%, sorry, 59.51% of the global population is in Asia. As you can see, China, we all know that China and India are the part of Asia, and they are the world's most populated countries. So Asia can steer the momentum of the animal rights movement globally. Our primary goal is animal liberation, and this can be achieved through veganism. And Asia has to play a very and extremely important role. I believe that. Yeah. So before starting, let's understand diversity around us and inclusion around us. So we have a poll activity over here in this. So there is a question in this poll activity, and that is animal rights group or organization you are a part of. Do you find the following people participating in decision making? So we have few minutes and you can answer that. The first is people from different religion. If you are in group which participate in decision making and you think that people from different religion are there, people from marginalized and oppressed communities are there, people from LGBTQAI+ are there, people with disability, they are there, people from different age group. So guys, as you can see here, we are with the diverse community and the participation of decision making in our groups, in our team, in our animal rights organization or a local group. So I want you to keep this poll in mind, and then with this we'll understand more. What is diversity? In very simple words, we can say the diversity consists of people of different race, ethnicity, gender, sexual orientation, socioeconomic status, age, physical abilities, religious belief, political beliefs, and other ideologies. So we see a diverse number of people in Asia, right? So I'll go to the next slide. When we talk about inclusivity or inclusion, being inclusive is not the same as being diverse. So diversity is the product of inclusivity. We need to create an inclusive community in order to become a diverse one, not the other way around. The degree to which our open organization or a small group or a local group is inclusive determines how it adapts to, responds to, and embrace diversity in order to improve itself. The more inclusive we are, the more variance we will be able to introduce in our group or organization. The more variance we introduce to the organization, and the more we will be able to leverage our organization's diversity to make it better. So I have a very good example of diversity and inclusion here. You can see there's a cricket team. So in this cricket team, you see bowlers, you see batsmen, there are good openers, good fielders. So we have people with different skills in this team. A team consists of only bowlers or only batsmen, or the people having the same or only one type of skill. And any team can be powerful when it is truly diverse and inclusive. So if the diversity is maintained there, basically, or otherwise we are going to miss out on a good section of the population. So we also see that all these people are from different states, different religion, different economic background, and they all are given equal importance and respect. So now we think that, okay, so we understand here the diversity and inclusion like playing a very important role, that what it has to do with the animal rights movement. Like, why do we want diversity and inclusion should be in the animal rights movement? So since we all know that there are, we have to achieve animal liberation, and for that we are working hard by planning campaigns, by doing there are different tasks to achieve small goals, big goals, which will take us to achieve animal liberation. To make it effective and successful, we need to have a diverse and inclusive team. Okay, so so I'll share with you one study of Harvard. It says that 506 companies did an analysis in 2009 and found that firms with more racial or gender diversity had more sales revenue, more customers, and greater profit. A 2016 analysis of more than 20,000 firms in 91 countries found that companies with more female executives were more profitable. And in 2011, study management teams exhibiting a wider range of educational and work backgrounds produce more innovative products. So these are the mere correlation, but laboratory experiments have also shown that the direct effect of diversity on the team performance. So this is an effective way to perform tasks or to perform our campaigns, to build a campaign. So now, how do we make our animal rights group organization diverse and inclusive? And so here we want everyone not only to become vegan, but also a diverse number of people to join the movement and speak for the animals with us. So for that, we need to understand few things. I will start with there are four things which we need to understand. They are very basic. So the should not only look welcoming, but should be welcoming. And the second is educate ourselves. We should educate ourselves about different forms of oppression. The third is by understanding our privilege. And the fourth is be a good ally. So let's go to this point, through this point, one by one, and let's understand this. Come to the first point. So as you can see this picture on my screen, a protest, and this is a picture which I just want to ask everyone. You can write it on chat. What do you think about this picture? And suppose you want to, you understand the challenges and the protest, and you want to be with them. You want to go and sit with them, and want to participate in the in this protest. It may look welcoming to some people, but not to everyone. We see all the male people over there wearing same kind of dress. So this is not an example of diversity, right? So if you have any comments related to this picture, you can just write it on the chat. So the question, the thing is, we should not only look welcoming, but also have to make space for the people where they feel comfortable, safe, while they raise their voice against injustice. So what do we need to do? So here comes the second point. So we need to educate ourselves about different forms of oppression. And that will not take our focus away from the animals. How? So we will give you an activity over here after this. This is a group activity sheet. So everyone will work together in this document. There can be a multiple experiences, multiple definition with what you understand by that word. And you can give a small space and then start writing from the below if you see somebody is already writing. And if you are not aware about that word, then you can leave it and write it, write on those words which you know. So here's this activity. I think we can share the link. This exercise is going to help each other of us to understand these ideologies. Sometimes by the definition we don't understand it that well, so that's why your experience is going to help others to understand these ideologies. So if you have encountered any experience, so you can list it there, and then we are going to keep this document with us. So this is really going to help us to understand. So these are like some ideologies, there are more. So but for the workshop, I thought like these are the ideologies which we often encounter in our lives. Thank you everyone for doing this group activity, and your experiences, as I said, is going to help someone to understand these ideologies, and we can understand oppressions more by this. So I'll go one by one quickly. So the first was colorism. It is discrimination and oppression against people with darker skin, can happen within the race or between the races. Speciesism, belief in human superiority that leads to oppression of animals. Xenophobia is discrimination against people who come from different regions. Ableism is privileging and normalizing able-bodied and neurotypical people over people with diverse physical and neurological function and abilities. Lookism is giving people we perceive as beautiful, privilege, or treating them as superior. Ageism is treating those of a certain age differently. Transphobia, homophobia, and biphobia, discrimination against people who identify themselves as LGBTQAI+. Casteism. Casteism refers to discrimination on the basis of caste of a person. So the system which divides people in their own religion into rigid hierarchical group based on their I would say ancestry, the work which our ancestors used to do on the basis of that, and classism, the belief that people from certain social or economical classes are superior to the others, or discrimination against people on the basis of the social class. So this is like one line definition to understand, and these experiences are going to help us to understand them more. So we are going to have a 15 minutes breakout session. We are going, so this will be divided into small group, and in which you can share your experiences on the basis of these ideologies and understand them more. So thank you everyone for joining breakout sessions. These sessions are really important because when the group is smaller, we are more, feel more comfortable to share our experiences with each other, and we educate each other. We understand about these ideologies, and yes, we're gonna have soon again one more breakout session, so everyone please do join that one as well, because it's really good for everyone, and learn from each other. So now I'll talk about the difference between non and anti. You might have heard about, I'm being a non-racist, or I'm being an anti-racist. I'm a non-speciesist and I'm anti-speciesist. So there's a difference between being a non and being an anti. So a lack of action versus an active responsibility to collectively address these issues. So anti means we must take action. We all participate. It is not enough to not to act. Not doing something is doing something. So we need to, so removing a system is not enough. We must create an equitable system and be true allies. So we always have to be anti-speciesist, anti-racist, anti-casteist, anti-classist, so that it clears our stand. It shows our clear stand that we are anti. We are speaking about it. So I'll move to our next slide, intersectionality. So intersectionality. So intersectionality has come from Kimberly Kinshaw. She, in 1989, she coined this term intersectionality in a paper as a way to help explain the oppression of African American women. Okay, to understand this, we can I can tell you some example, like here. So this is an example of a Hindu upper caste woman, or Swarna woman, we say. So she is in a patriarchal society. You can see the pins are on her body. So she's in a patriarchal society, and she faces problem which a woman faces in such society. So, but if suppose there is a woman who is not from the upper caste, and she's from scheduled caste, she's a Dalit, and also she's a lesbian, then first oppression she experiences, and that is being a woman, the first kind of oppression. And the second is being Dalit, or coming from an low caste, not, I would say, scheduled caste. So, and then also being a lesbian. So she suffers multiple oppressions in her life. So to understand it more, I can give you one more example of Hindu scheduled caste man. So, or a person who is not, people discriminate on the basis of work. So, so now let's say that a man is poor and also belongs from a scheduled caste. So this man faces other type of challenges and oppression in his life. So multiple. So being a poor and coming from a scheduled caste. So we see here this. We see here that different kinds of identity intersects. So if the different identity intersects, then oppressions also intersects, which is known as intersectionality. So this is what intersectionality is. Now, I'll come to the second part, which is this. Intersections between animal agriculture, environment crisis or environment justice, climate justice, you say, food justice. So we are already aware of these intersections. So here we understand that oppression does not exist in isolation. They are experienced in intersections. So we might come across someone who say, I'm not, I don't know about animals and I don't bother about animals. So we suggest that they watch movies like Game Changers, Cowspiracy, What They Help. We provide them with the resources to be more aware about these injustices. And we still focuses on animals. So we are informing others about these issues, and that is not taking our focus away from the animals. Okay, so here we are being pro-intersectional. So the intersectionality is different. What we talk about the nature, I'm explaining intersectionality to understand the intersection in the animal rights movement. So to understand oppression, it's important to understand intersectionality. So this is what. So now we also give our examples which we experience in our life to create empathy in other people. So let's take an example. Let's say that we are going in Fridays for Future strike. We are participating in that strike. If people involved in these protests distribute refreshments made of dairy or refreshment coming from animals, so that person doesn't know about climate, that the intersection between animal agriculture, justice and food justice. So what, he's completely unaware. So when they or when some people going back to their home and they are having non-vegan stuff in their dinner, so does that make sense to you, like coming to the strike and protesting for climate justice and then having animal products? So why it does not make sense to us? Because we know, we are informed about it. So we know that we cannot ignore animal agriculture when we are advocating for the environment. And this might happen with us as well. So we can also commit something like this when we are not informed about other issues or other oppressions. So I'll move to, now we come to our next point, uh, and that is our second last point, understand your privilege. So we will be doing a small activity in which will help us to understand more about ourselves and know how we have or do not have privilege in comparison to others. So you can take your notebook wherever you are. You can also do it on your laptop, on your notes. So I'll come to the activity. So let's start. So in this activity, the participant, all of you have 10 points. Each person has 10 points. So you can, so I'm going to read it out the statements point wise. And if that statement is true for you, you have to subtract 1 from 10. So suppose I say that you belong from an oppressed community. If that statement is not true for you, do not subtract. But if it is true for you, then subtract 1. And then the second statement, if that is true for you, then you can subtract 1. So that's how we go. And if everyone is ready, I can start read this out. The first statement is, so note that everyone has 10 points at present. We are starting with 10 points. So the first statement is, you belong from an oppressed community. The second is, you are an immigrant. You have faced discrimination on the basis of your caste. You have faced discrimination on the basis of your race. You have come from a single parent background. You have faced sexual harassment. You have faced an identity crisis. You were discriminated on the basis of your gender. You were discriminated on the basis of ethnicity. You were discriminated on the basis of your economic status. So you can see all the statements here on the screen. We can have a 10-minute breakout session because we are getting short of time.
Sure.
And everyone in the group, everyone please join the breakout session. So you can speak out you can say your point, that where do you stand when it comes to privilege, and then you can speak about your experiences, that why your point is 7 or 6 or 5, whatever it is. So I think we can do that. So so privilege means that there are some things in life that we will not experience or ever have to think about just because who we are. So that's why it is very important to understand what are our privileges and help each other to bring them, welcome them in the animal rights movement and growth. So we need to understand this, and this is very important, that when we expect others to understand our point, it is also important for us to understand theirs as well. We will achieve nothing if we blame or shame. Slaughterhouse workers, people who only care about cats and dogs, or boycotting non-vegans around us and feeling proud of being vegan. And also by acting as an opportunist in the other social justice movement. I know that we feel happy when we are around vegans and we feel good. But this is not helping animals. We need to stay in the system and change it by uniting people and by standing with them in the solidarity in their social justice movement. And also get self-informed about other oppressions. We need to change our attitude towards other in order to apply compassion and non-violent approach. We need to have feeling of compassion inside and non-violence in our minds. Most of us are not born vegan, and it took time for us to understand and bring it up and into our action. So we should always remember our time, and we also need to understand that our fight is with the system, and we need everyone support and a huge public support to stand with us and being a good ally for the animals and for other people. So the last point is to make our animal rights movement diverse and inclusive. The last point was be a good ally. So we understood that by educating ourselves about other forms of oppression is it's important, and an ally's job is to support we have to make sure that we use our privilege and our voice to educate others, but we have to do it in such a way that it does not speak over the community members whom we are trying to support. So this is something we need to keep in mind, and also do not take credit of the things that they already saying. Do not get defensive when you are called out. So many a times we are not aware of certain things and we speak about that, and due to which people get offended. And we say that, oh, I was just joking. Oh, I'm so sorry if you felt bad. So, it's like that. I'm not trying to step on your foot, but accidentally did. And obviously it wasn't the intention, but you already heard that person. So do not get defensive when you're called out. Listen, apologize, and commit to change your behavior and move forward. So that's how we can be a good ally to the other social justice movement. So I have a very good graphic which explains about inequality, equality, equity, and justice. So I'm gonna share with you guys that. So this is a picture. As you can see, this tree is slightly bent towards your left, and you see two people are standing down. So this is an inequality, which we say unequal access to the opportunity. So the next picture is, now there is this equality. We have given the equal, like evenly distributed tools. You can see the tools, same tools are there, and assistance, but still the other person is not able to have that kind of opportunities which he should. And then you see equity. So what is equity? Here you see the other person can still have some opportunity, but not as this person. We have um, we have this person with the um, biggest ladder. So custom tools that identify and address inequality. The best example is reservations, which we have in India, and about the seats are reserved for women and the people coming from the scheduled caste and other backward caste. So equity can be explained with that example, but still you can see that the people do not get equal opportunity even if having reservation. And the other picture you see, now here we are talking about justice. It means that fixing the system to offer equal access to both tools and opportunities. So here you see the tree, we have fixed the tree. So now you can relate it with the social justice movements. Why we say it's justice? Because we are here, we are here and protesting to fix the system. So we have to fix the system here, fix the tree, and now we can see there is actually equal opportunity divided. So through these points, we understand other forms of oppression and acknowledge them. So at the end of the day, everyone wants to live safely. We know and empathize with the unsafe conditions of the animals now. Since we need that kind of safety to understand this, it is important for us to know about oppression, and that will not divert us from speaking about animals. But it will help us to create an inclusive ambience for everyone, and we can fight for animal rights without sabotaging other social justice movements. So we need diverse and inclusive community. So this is how diversity and inclusion plays an important role to grow the movement, to make the movement powerful. Thank you.